What if I told you you're in a battle right now? Not the kind with swords or guns, not one you can see with your eyes, but a spiritual war, fierce, invisible, and deeply personal. And you're not the first. The Bible is filled with people who face the same kind of war. You're in attacks on their identity, their future, their faith. And they didn't just survive, they overcame. Let's look at 3 of them. First, Daniel, the man who stood tall when everyone else bowed. He was taken from his home as a teenager, forced to live in a foreign empire, and surrounded by pressure to conform. But Daniel didn't bend. When a law was passed to ban prayer, he didn't flinch. He didn't hide. He didn't compromise. He opened his window, just like always, knelt down and prayed. Not because he wasn't afraid, but because he knew who was in control. They threw him into a den of lions. And here's what's wild. God didn't remove the lions. He just shut their mouths. That's the power of a disciplined spiritual life. Daniel didn't win that battle in the lion's den. He won it long before in his prayer closet. Next up, Joseph, the dreamer who got betrayed. His brothers hated him. They threw him in a pit, sold him as a slave, and told their father he was dead. Then came false accusations. Then came prison. Years went by, no justice, no explanation, just silence. But here's what Joseph didn't do. He didn't grow bitter. He didn't seek revenge. He didn't let prison shape his purpose. He served. He interpreted dreams. He stayed faithful in the dark. And when the time was right, God lifted him up straight from prison to Pharaoh's palace. You see, Joseph didn't fight with fists. He fought with forgiveness, patience, and vision. That's a spiritual battle few people recognize. Both Daniel and Joseph faced external injustice. But the real war, it happened inside. Daniel had to overcome fear. Joseph had to overcome resentment. And they both won because they didn't let the circumstances define their faith. Now let's talk about Paul, a man who went from persecutor to preacher. And once he followed Jesus, life didn't get easier. It got harder. He was whipped, beaten, shipwrecked, jailed, mocked, left for dead. And yet somehow he wrote, "Rejoice always, give thanks in all circumstances." Because Paul understood his battle wasn't against people. It wasn't Rome. It wasn't politics. It was spiritual. And he chose to fight it with praise, with truth, with endurance. From a prison cell, he wrote letters that still change lives today. He turned chains into a channel for hope. That's not weakness. That's victory from the inside out. What do Daniel, Joseph, and Paul all have in common? They didn't let fear, pain, or injustice stop them. They stayed faithful when it didn't make sense. They trusted God even when the lions roared, when the cell door closed, when the crowds turned hostile. None of them escaped the storm, but all of them walked through it with unshakable faith. They didn't fight like the world fights. They didn't rely on revenge rage or control. They fought with prayer, forgiveness, praise, and truth. And friend, so can you. Because here's the truth. You're in a battle too. It may not be a lion's den, a prison cell, or a riot. But maybe it's the battle of self-worth, the war against bitterness, the pressure to give up your values just to fit in. Whatever it is, don't forget. The greatest victories in Scripture didn't come from power. They came from faithfulness. So today, choose to fight the right way. Don't just react. Don't just survive. Stand, pray, stay faithful. Because when you fight with heaven's weapons, you're not just surviving the battle. You're winning it. Life will test you. You may not face lions or prison bars, but betrayal, fear, discouragement, they'll come. And in those moments, how you choose to respond determines whether you survive or rise. Daniel teaches us that discipline in quiet seasons prepares us for loud battles. Joseph shows us that faithfulness in pain leads to favor in due time. Paul proves that praise in prison can shake foundations and unlock destinies. None of them fought by the world's standards. They didn't seek control or vengeance. They chose prayer, humility, obedience. And in that they overcame. You don't need to fight harder. You need to fight holier. Because the real war isn't what's happening around you, it's what's happening inside you. Will you let fear rule? Will bitterness have the final word? Or will you rise like Daniel, Joseph, and Paul, anchored in truth, led by faith? The same God who stood with them now stands with you. So stand. The battle is on, but the victory is promised. Now that you've heard their stories, which one resonated with your current season? Are you in a lion's den of pressure, a prison of delay, or facing trials like Paul? Drop a comment and let us know where you are in your journey and how you're choosing to fight back. Let's grow stronger together.